trying to yeah. Tell me when to start.
Go ahead and start.
Good morning, everyone. Again, and we are so fortunate to be with you this morning. Thankful to God for keeping us alive, keeping us safe, and I'm encouraging you all to let the joy of God just fill your hearts and minds. Keep your mind stayed on Him. Keep your focus on Him because He's the one that is our keeper. He is our provider. And I know the challenges that many of us have, even at this time, whether it is challenges to see our friends or to socialize, or the challenges of meeting our basic needs every day. It is a challenge, but we are here to give each other the support that we need, with God in the midst of us, helping us to make sure we don't only focus on ourselves and on only our needs, but look at our brothers, look at our sisters, and those that may be less fortunate than us, and we lend a hand of support. So good morning again, and we are here at the Pioneers Life Center, in collaboration with our church, that Divine Encounter Fellowship Ministries. We are here to give you the support that we are able to. And right now we are into our Deaf English Level 2 class that we are focusing on. And on the board you will see review, and our program runs in line with the same timing as normal school, primary school, secondary school. And if you look at the calendar, you will notice that we have about 3 more weeks or so for the end of our school term. And in preparation for the closing of our school term, we have an assessment, and I assess every term. So today, this Sunday, and next Sunday will be focused on a review. We are going to review what we covered for this term, so that when I give you the test the last week, and after this, we count in this week, the next 2 weeks after this week will be your assessment. Right? I don't want to make it a surprise. I want you all to be aware so that you can start revising. Some students who have not been coming on as frequent live with us, we have our programs saved on YouTube. You could see us on YouTube and also on Facebook, so that anything that you missed, based on the fact of it was not a time when you could have come on with us, you can see us still, okay? And you could go ahead and review with us and go back on what we taught also. So we, one of the topics that we looked at the beginning when we started was the use of a and an, and I'm going to the exceptions. I did the exceptions with level 1 incidentally because they asked me, but this was really a topic for level 2. So when we use a and there's some exceptions to the rule. Exception to the rule. Right? There's some exception to this rule, and this exception is based on whether, we as English speakers, we have the ability to hear. And the rule for a and an is really a rule based on what we hear, but I used it to show you can see certain things where you're using the consonants and the vowels, right? But there's a sound that these letters make when you speak, but if you cannot hear, as deaf persons, you cannot hear, there are some exceptions to the rules based on the actual seeing of the letters, which you cannot really apply by yourselves. So you have to learn the exceptions. So I just want to focus on that today, and then if we have any more time, I will look at something else, all right, in terms of addition. So this is one part, and I'm just saying in terms of the one of the review we're going to review. So we know that, and I'm reviewing the rule, right? We use a when we use, and we're looking at it in terms of a noun. So a, and after the letter A, we should have with it a noun, right? And the noun usually begins with the consonants. So all the nouns must start with a consonant. Right? That's in terms of how we spell it. We must have consonants beginning the noun. And you give me a lot of them when we were doing it. So starting with the alphabet, A, you know, is the beginning of the alphabet. So A is not a consonant. So any noun beginning with the rest, B, like in bat, C, D, we leaving out E, and we go into F, and we continue like that. So long as the noun begins with a, and sometimes some people are asking, what does that 3 dots mean? That 3 dots means to continue. So I could go on to the end. So C, D, F, G, and if you see, put in the dots, dots means it have more to write, and I will end with Z. But every time I'm going to write my alphabet, I have to make sure it is not a vowel. So I'm looking at the consonant. So all the nouns that begins with a consonant, we start with, we use A before them. And that is one rule that we learned. And the next rule, and you will see me put in 1, 2, 3. That means I am continuing. And somebody asked me, and no, I'm just repeating. When you see these 3 dots, it means continue. Or, so I'm saying continue, I'm writing the word continue after underneath it. So we are looking at, if you use an, when I'm using an, and then I write a noun, my noun must begin with the vowels. So I have to write the vowels. So any vowel, any noun that begins with a vowel, example, apple, egg, and the vowels are a few, A, E, I, O, okra, that is a vegetable that we have in Trinidad, and okra. Right, and I say as I put the 3 dots until I'm finished, I go on to the end. Right? Right, so there are some exceptions to this rule. So we want to look at the exceptions. And I mentioned them in the level 1 class, and I said I want to do it at the level 2. Okay, so the exception to the rule. Now, before I do the exception, I wanted to, there was something it just popped in my head I wanted to show you. But let's look at the noun first, right? So we're looking at exceptions. Now, if some letters in words are silent, and we're looking at the word hour. Hour is a name given to the time, to the hour. Now, when you are saying this word, when you are speaking this word, you do not sound out this H. And as we looked at when we list our consonants, the H is a consonant. So automatically a deaf person, and even hearing children, when you're teaching the children and some people, you know, the H is a letter that is a consonant. But when you say this word, you are saying from the O. And the O's have sounds, 2 sounds in fact. So you say hour. So this H is not, you do not say it. So when I'm using A and an, I'm going to select not the A. I will say and then I'm going to write hour. And you say, but Sharon taught us when the letter begins with a consonant to use a. But this is an exception to the rule because of the sound that when you pronounce this word or when you say this word, as in terms of right, the sign, you say our. Okay, I hope that is clear. Now, based on when we went to do adjectives, there are some adjectives, and there's a form of writing when you're writing sentences. You can, when you use an adjective, you use an adjective and then you write a noun. Okay, so when you're writing sentences, and this is not the whole sentence, you are, when in the use of adjectives, which we did, you write the adjective first and then you write the noun second. So another word, and this comes with the exception, the word honest. Honest is an adjective describing the character of a person. The word honest is also an exception. Honest. Honest is not a noun, but it is placed before the noun to describe the noun. So we say honest man. The word honest, when a hearing person is speaking, this H is not voice or is not spoken. You start sounding the word from the O. Right? Because you start sounding the word from the O, I will say an honest man. An honest man. Because honest is the sound it makes is not the H sound. So there are some exceptions to the rule, and which I wanted you to know about. Okay? Okay? So there's other words that you will look at that I would like you to also be aware of in terms of just a few of them. I'm just looking at another one. I'm not looking at the adjective here. I'm looking at a noun again. Right? So another word is, and these words you will not meet up unless you are taught some of them. So we have this word. This word is a noun. And again, this word begins with H. But when you say this word, you do not sound out H. Do not sound that H out. Just like honest, do not sound out that H. So you say the word air. Air. It is the same sound like if you're talking about your air, part of your body. But this air is really referred to a person who inherits or gets something after a person dies. So your father dies and you are his heir. That means you are entitled to get the certain things that belong to him. Maybe he left a piece of land, a house, or some money. So you are an heir. So we will say an heir. Although air begins with H, because of the sound that it makes at the beginning of the word, which is a vowel sound, you say an air. So when I'm teaching you, I will give you the exceptions to the rule. So we go back, the exceptions. I showed you 3 words this morning. One is air, which is the last one. Then we did an honest man, where we use the honest as the adjective. And if we go back, we saw our, an hour. So we say an hour. Okay, even though it begins with the letter H. So this is one of the things I'm revising with you. So let's go on to another revision, what we did in level 2. So that is one thing that we revised there. The next thing we're looking at is the other words that we, I'm sure you all appreciate that when we use the word that, and we use the word this. These words that I'm highlighting to you is words that you will use in your sentence when you are pointing to nouns. And we said that we're looking at the word far, and this one we're looking at the word this as when we're looking at near, things that are near. So we say that and this. So objects that are far, we say that. Objects that are near, we say this. Not only that, that and this also refer to singular when you're looking at one object. So we are looking at one thing. So one thing or one person. Right? So we're looking at singular. And singular, again, I'm reminding you, singular means one. Singular means one. So this is one of the things that we learn. And if we, what I did is use drawings. So example, and I would like you all to go back in your books to the pages when we did this and find your examples and try and do them over. Okay, so I will go back there too, and when I am doing my test, I will select the things that I gave you. So the example, all right, and I give a drawing of a person, the distance. So if I put, I'm just drawing a table, something simple for me to draw. All right, so this is A. Then B, I can say, I draw the person again. And I put the table the closer, and it's the distance. Right, distance. So this one, based on the distance, I will say that. And based on this one, the distance, I will say this. And based on the distance. Okay? All right, so I can make a sentence about that based on the distance. So just look at your sentences that I gave where you're using that and this. And each one of them, as you notice, I will have a drawing to represent the sentence. That and this. So the next thing I want to review, so we did that, this is singular, that is far, this is near. Then I did, going to the next review, number 3, and excuse me if I'm going too fast, it's what we did already. We did those, and we did these. We did those and these, and those. One is far, one is near. So those, we say those are the far, anything that is far, and these is near. It's near to you. But when you're looking at the singular and plural, this, those, and these refer to plural. So you're looking at things that are plural. Unlike the that and the this, which was singular. And plural means more than one. More than one. So if I am drawing it like what I did before, watch it. The example, I'm going to draw example. Excuse me. I am the near and the far is in relation to whoever is speaking, so I will always draw a person. So I am drawing some plants. Excuse me on my drawings. I know when you're drawing, I just don't draw it like that. Sometimes in relation to how you draw, it may look like something is far. So I'm just gonna try and draw something like some boxes or something. Oh, boxes or so. Right? So this is more than one, and then I will have another one. Trying to draw it the same way, right? So both of them are more than one or plural, so I will say in relation, this one will be this, these, and based on the distance, these right here, the other one, I will say those, because it's the distance in related to the person. Right? So these plural, those plural, but it's based on whether they are far or near, you will use the word. So that is two things that we revised there in terms of when you are doing these things. All right? Okay, so let's go on to another review. This is the last review I'm doing, because next week we'll do another set of review, right? Okay, so we did pronouns, and we talk about pronouns, and we said after we did pronouns, we did these are the parts of speech. These are the words. Let me start over. Yeah? Let me start with what we did first in terms of, in terms of parts of speech. I was trying to erase. So we did parts of speech, and we did nouns. We said what is a noun. We just review. We did adjectives. And we did pronouns. And we did, and we did verbs. Sorry about that. Okay. And we did verbs. And verbs are very critical in making sure we get the sentence. That's how we have to connect, and we have to make sentences. We need to connect these words, because we can make sentences with all these words. But in order for us to make a proper sentence, verbs are very important. Every sentence that you make, you must have a verb. So these are parts of speech. And I said, and I know what I did in terms of when we did these. I said these words come out of our mouth if we are a hearing person. So when you buy an English book, you will see it says parts of speech. That means words that comes out of our mouth, they do certain things to make sure that the sentence makes sense. They have functions. There are certain things that they do. All right? And same thing with sign language, and I compare them. Sign language, we need to have these same words, but in terms of how we put them together in sign language and how we put them together in English, it will have a different way and a different how you use them. Okay, and what we are trying to sensitize both deaf persons and those who are speaking English is that we have to understand that, so that we will not make anybody feel they're not saying the right thing, right? But because deaf people are learning English, you have to follow rules, and we are taking our time with it so that you will be able to understand. Okay, and there are different functions of a noun, and there are different functions of adjective and a pronoun and a verb. So we will quickly explain each one of the parts of speech so that you will be able to identify. And I realize I need to slow down a bit with some students because they did not understand these parts of speech. So when I have to make sentences, they select the wrong words to put in order. All right? And we are so familiar with the nouns because nouns are something that we are all used to. We have nouns, and we have nouns that are names, as we said. Nouns are names. Nouns are names. Any name you give anything is called a noun. So nouns are names of animals. Any name of an animal, any name of a person, any name of a place, or any name of a thing. They are nouns. So nouns are names of animal, person, place, thing. And even nouns go even further than that. We have nouns that are common nouns. So we have common nouns. That means noun, I could call that noun like a person. I could say boy. Anytime I see a boy, I can say boy. So we have common nouns that you will give to any boy. But there are a kind of noun called proper noun. And a proper noun is a name given to a boy, like he'll have a special name that he is being called, like Adrian. Adrian is a special name of a boy. And you'll notice that the name Adrian begins with a capital letter. So you have common noun and you have proper noun. Okay, and how you spell the name of each one of them is important. Okay, and similar with animal, person, place, and thing. There are common nouns for animal. There are proper nouns for animal. Like if you have a dog. So if I have a dog, all the dogs in everybody's yard, I can say dog. But in your yard, in your pet's dog, you will call the dog a special name. Alright? And we give our dog names based on personality, or we like a name or whatever. We can call the dog Spot because, we could call the dog Spot, and because of where I'm writing, it's giving me a little issue. Alright, so we could call the dog, same thing happening. Right, so we could call the dog Spot. I'm just going to write it in between here, S-P-O-T. So it's giving me problem. Right, so we could call the dog Spot. All right, based on maybe the dog have a lot of spots all over it and we call it Spot. That is a special name, and I'm trying to get my capital letter there because it's a special name of the dog. So I'm going to put a capital S. I'm sorry about the writing in that part of the board. Right? So we have this in terms of noun. I'm gonna pause here. I'm gonna stop here because I don't want to overwhelm you. I want you to go back in your book. I don't want you to say, we did all our work. I can't remember all that. Right, no, slow down. Slow down, we're slowing down. Let's go back. What we did today. Right, and we looked at the review with A and an and the exception to the rule. And we look at A and an. This was a revision which I wanted to do for some people because I didn't want you forgetting. I'd reviewing to go forward. That is a strategy that I use and most teachers use so that we make sure you remember your work. Right? A and an. A is used with the consonants and an is used with the vowels. And the exception to the rule, there are some words, especially some that begins with the letter H, and there are others. It begins with H, but when you pronounce it, you start with the next letter, which is usually a vowel. Right? So, and then we have the other way around. I didn't show you the other way around, but let's stop here for a while. Right? Good. So we have our. We have honest, and we have A. An honest man and A. And our. Although it begins with H because of how you see it. Okay. And the use of that and this based on the distance. You usually use it when relating to the far and near, and it's also singular. We did this also. Those and these, also far and near, respectively, and they are both plural. And then we were going into our parts of speech. So we stop at parts of speech. We still have plenty to do here, but I will stop here, okay? But I want to give you a little practice. So when you are being tested, I will give you the list of words. So I will give you a sentence. If I say the man has, I'm putting a space and then I'm writing the word a. Remember the exception to the rule that I showed you. So you have to use either a or an. And if I say the lady has something hot, and I'm selecting a or an. Now remember what I said about the words. All right, I showed you what the exceptions are, so it's nothing. I'm not like pulling it out of a hat. So when you read a word, both of them begins with H, but which one would you use for a, and which one would you use for hat? So you have to go back and remember that. So in terms of a deaf person have to memorize things. Apart, it is easier for the hearing person, and I know that. So you have to remember that air, when you see H-E-I-R and that word, you have to remember that vocabulary word. So that is a vocabulary word, and a spelling. You have to remember that anytime you say that word, if you're not, you can't say it as a deaf person, you will hear a vowel at the beginning. So you have to put a different one to the one for hat. All right? So you have to remember that. All right, so look at the one with the okay, so I'm going to put the answer. Something book is near is red. I'm going to put my possession there. All right, something book is red. So this one, I would put a drawing, and I will have, I'm trying to do it in, so I'm putting, so that person is holding the book. So what are we going to say? Are you going to put, which one of these words are you going to write at the beginning? The person is holding the book. All right. Something orange, and I'm sorry about my handwriting there, the E looking like it's bigger than everybody, right? The something orange is ripe. Now again, I need to put the person who is talking, and I could even draw a tree. And I'm putting one, because one I'm talking about. I'm sorry about the color. Right. So look at the distance from what the book is. And I'm so sorry about I apologizing for my drawing, but let me see if I can fix it. And I'm trying to color it within the space, but it's still coming out. Right, so there's one orange on that tree, and I am going to I'm going to select which word am I selecting in terms of that and this. Okay, so based on the distance, remember what we did in our revision, and I'm going to be giving you these kind of simple things. I'm not going to give you any complicated things. So we're just learning about the concept, about that and this, and look at what I did before. Now I just don't like how my word orange is there, so I'm writing it over. Right. Okay, so that's a practice, and there's two more I'm writing. You can copy it as I'm writing, and it's going slowly. Copy it on the board. I'm hoping I'm not seeing Selwyn and Derwin. I'm hoping you all are on. I saw Selwyn and Derwin online, and welcome to those who I'm not able to see you on YouTube. YouTube is not where you can see me. If you want to see me and interact with me, you need to be on the Zoom. So you have to follow the Zoom link. You could go back on YouTube and revise and review what was done. All right, so number 5, I'm just going quickly, number 5 and number 6. All right, something children are in school, right, and And I know how where school is right now. We have a lot of school that is virtual. We are online. Something children are in school, so we have the children and they're in school. Right, I'm trying to draw it, so excuse my, right, so these are children here. So we have these and we have those, but what is missing is, excuse me, what is missing is in relation to, you must have a drawing of yourself because you are the one who are talking. So I need to draw that. So I am standing up in front here and I'm talking. Am I going to say these or am I going to say those? I'm standing in front of them. This is in relation to the children. So I'm needing to draw another drawing, and I like trees. So you're looking at the distance again. Those or these. So you choose your words. Okay. Okay. So you must have, when you're using these, those, these, that, this, you must have a picture of yourself because you are the one talking about them. So you are talking about them based on the distance they are in relation to you. Okay. So that is what we practice. I didn't give you anything with the parts of speech because we still have to really go more into it. So I'll focus on the parts of speech next class, and something else, right? Pattern speech in relation to the some sentences that we learned about writing sentences, right? Okay, so that will be our class today. When you are finished with your work, please take a picture, send it for me so I'll correct it on WhatsApp. Okay, so it was wonderful again this morning. I hope you all are learning well, you all understand clearly. If you do not, please WhatsApp me, give me some feedback. I will like your feedback. Please, when you are giving your feedback, as you need to be respectful in what you say, and we are working together. Try not to, don't be rude, but be respectful. That is all I ask, so that when I am responding to you, sometimes I don't respond on the time you want me to respond based on the fact that I have to manage my time on my phone. Also a school teacher, so I have work to do during the day also and in the night with my class, right? So I'm happy to be with you all again. We have 2 more classes after this class, 2 more Sundays again, and then we are closing off. All right, we are closing off on the 4th of July. So keep that in mind when you are organizing your revision and your work. All right, so bye-bye until. See you on Wednesday, please God, for level 1 at 6.